Time now for the next edition of our Primetime Players. We asked our ESPN NBA experts to rank the best 15 players in the NBA right now. So far, we got Jimmy Buckets at number 15, Kyrie Irving 14, PG 13, coincidentally 13. So fitting. Number 12 is the answer to our trivia question. Over the last 5 seasons, no player in the NBA has recorded more assists than this player. The answer, drumroll please, go.
Next up on our First Take NBA Primetime Player ranking is Russell Westbrook.
Ruthless, rude Russ.
This superstar averaged a triple-double for 3 straight seasons from 2016 to 2019. Only Hall of Famer Oscar Robertson has more career triple-doubles.
20 game, first time since Bill Chamberlain.
Player number 12, Rockets guard Russell Westbrook.
All right, Westbrook's former teammate Kendrick Perkins back here with us. Max Kellerman, you are up first. Is Russell Westbrook a top 10 player?
I take no pleasure in saying this because, as you know, Westbrook's my favorite player. He's not. And the reason he's not is because I can name 10 guys I would take before him right now. Westbrook has been amazing. If this was 3 or 4 years ago, the answer would be an emphatic yes. But right now, I can't take him over Kawhi or LeBron or the Freak or KD or AD or Steph or Harden or Damian Lillard. So now, what do I need? 1 more guy? 2 more guys? Luka Doncic is in the MVP conversation. Westbrook is not. Westbrook's 31. Luka's 20. If you make it a career achievement award, right, you want to look backward, then you say, well, what has Luka done? But we're not. We're looking now and forward. And Luka's going to be 21 next year. Westbrook's going to be 32. And Luka's having a better year this year. They have practically identical records, but Westbrook's running mate is Harden, an MVP caliber player, and Doncic is Porzingis, who could be one day an MVP caliber player, but at this point is just maybe a bubble all-star style player. And then PG-13, man, Paul George. Paul George and Westbrook played on the same team. Paul George was the best player on the team. So that's 10 dudes. Westbrook is at best 11th, competing with guys like Embiid and Jokic and Simmons and Jimmy Butler.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to lie to you, Max Kellerman. I didn't even hear your list because it was hard for me to pay attention to it because I just don't know 10 players on the planet that are better than Russell Westbrook because there are intangibles to take into consideration. I understand. I admit it because I didn't hear you because I tuned you out because it was just not that nonsensical to me. I'm guilty. I apologize. But the point that I'm trying to make to you is this.
You don't listen to the
not
evidence.
Not only has he averaged a triple-double. I just admitted it, Max. I just said. I said I didn't listen. He averaged a triple-double 3 consecutive years coming into this season. When the season was suspended this particular season in Houston, he was averaging 28, 7, and 8. But to me, I don't pay attention to just the numbers because if I paid attention to the numbers, then I could indict Russell Westbrook because he shot in 29% or worse from three-point range the last 3 or 4 years. And I think there was some stat last year, KP, where outside of 3 feet, he was shooting like 30% from the field. But here's what I'm thinking about with Russell Westbrook. He is the greatest athlete we've ever seen at the point guard position. I'm thinking about the fact that everything that he does is usually in traffic because it's very rare that he's had an opportunity over the last few years to play with a bona fide shooter, so he was usually operating in traffic instead of in space. Still, it was unstoppable in terms of him getting to the basket because you can't neutralize him. His speed, his athleticism, his veracity on both ends of the floor, this is some stuff that's pretty close to unparalleled. That's what he brings to the table. And when I think about that, I think about the fact that you look at the pace of play that Oklahoma City had with him in terms of fast breaks and things of that nature and what they had without him, how much slower they were. Now, obviously, Chris Paul's running the show with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, so it's a different animal, and I get that, mad respect to them. But Russell Westbrook, there are so many things that he brings to the table that veer far beyond his own individual numbers and what he's able to do for people around him through sheer force of will. I can't look at Russell Westbrook, a league MVP, a guy that's a walking triple-double whenever he wants and ignore and just say, hey, there's 10 players in the NBA better than him. A matter of fact, I'll go as far as to say this. If you are a guy, if you are a franchise, Max, and you're looking for a culture setter, and you had to pick a person to start your franchise with, to literally set the tone of the culture that you want to build, Russell Westbrook is actually one of the first 5 players you pick for that role. That's how elite he is. So I have him in the top 10.
Love me some Westbrook.
Oh, preach, Stephen A. Stephen A., just sit back in your seat a little bit real quick and let me get on Max. I heard earlier in the show, Stephen A., you say you was feeling a little under the weather, but it seemed like to me Max is the one under the weather. Because if you think for one moment that Russell Westbrook is not a top 10 player in this league, Max, I feel sorry for your loss. Let me tell you something about Russell Westbrook. And actually this year I changed his name to Russell Westbrook O'Neal. And I'm going to tell you why. After the Houston Rockets made the trade and traded away Clint Capella, they did that for Russell Westbrook. Over a 10-game span, Russell Westbrook had 274 points in the paint. The last person to do something like that over 10 games
he's their center,
was
basically.
Shaquille O'Neal. But listen, when you talk about Russell Westbrook, Max, think about it. His MVP season, he was phenomenal. This year, we could arguably say that Russell Westbrook is having one of his best seasons of his career. He's shooting 47% from the field. He's averaging 27, 8, and 7, playing alongside James Harden. And